Well, this was not the conversation I was expecting to have after UFC 321. The main event between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane ends in a no contest with Tom retaining his belt after getting poked in both eyes and the fight getting called off in the very first round. Now, we just have to get this out of the way for all the people that are in the comments saying that Tom was looking for a way out. Most of the people in the comments have never been poked in the eye like this before, if ever. Tom made the smart decision. He literally couldn't see. So when you have to consider a fighter's long-term health, and also essentially these people are saying that he should have gone back into the biggest fight of his life, where his legacy is on the line, his opportunities to make money and change his family's life forever are on the line in this fight. And you guys sitting at home want him to go back into that fight, essentially blind in 1 or 1.5 eyes, basically. So Tom Aspinall gets poked in the eye, both eyes actually. And you can see it right here. Tom Aspinall saying, "I can't see," over and over again. I knew the second that he said that the fight was going to be over. And this was him right here saying, "Why are you guys booing me? I got poked in the eyes." This is the clip right here.
The fight was just getting going. Complete bullshit. I'm pissed off.
Tom, what can you see now? Is it double? Like, what are you seeing when you try to open your eye?
I can hardly open my eye. He was fucking, look.
Look at this.
Double poke, both eyeballs.
Yeah, it was double. It was double.
And Tom even went on to ask the fans why they're booing. He got poked in both eyes.
Fucking poked knuckle deep in the eyeball. What the fuck? Why are you booing? What am I supposed to do about it? I didn't do the fucking poke. I can't see. This is bullshit. The fight was just getting going.
One of the more frustrating outcomes to a fight or especially a championship fight in recent memory. But also, just you got to feel for Tom Aspinall. He waited for over a year while Jon Jones wasted away a large portion of the prime of his career. And now his first undisputed heavyweight title defense gets taken away from him via eye poke, no contest. You got to feel for Tom Aspinall. There's a lot of really bad guys in this sport like Jon Jones, who a lot of you guys are glazing in the comments, talking about how he would have beat Tom. There's a lot of bad guys in the sport, and for one of the good guys in the sport to get done like this and treated this badly in the comments after is pretty brutal. Tom Aspinall, nothing you can do here. He made the right decision by not continuing to fight. He couldn't see. Ciryl Gane, there's nothing to feel sorry for with Ciryl Gane. He got warned during the fight by Jason Herzog more than once and then ended up getting poked. It's the Jon Jones strategy to create distance and compromise your opponent as the fight goes on. Keep your hand closed. It's literally the rules. Hands towards the ceiling or fist closed. There's only two options. Ciryl Gane reached out to push Tom in the face after throwing a kick to the body. Honestly, despicable behavior and treatment of Tom Aspinall after this fight. But he's headed to the hospital. Hopefully, the recovery is relatively quick and it's nothing too serious. I've been poked in the eye really, really bad in training and in fights before. I mean, I couldn't see for like 40 minutes after getting poked in the eye one time. This is what had to happen once the eye poke took place, unfortunately. Yeah, it sucks, but here we are. Alex Pereira posted this response to the fight, and the caption is, "Let's make the heavyweight division great again. Shama X Bones equals house emoji." Now, he's obviously talking about Alex Pereira, Jon Jones at the White House. Here, you know, you got Alex Pereira, who's literally my favorite fighter. He's laughing this off. And man, I disagree with this too, because any other fighter in this position with these type of stakes on the line, with the Jon Jones saga that took place, would not continue to fight. And it's smart that he didn't. And Dana White said that he plans to rebook Ciryl Gane and Tom Aspinall as soon as Tom Aspinall's eye is healed. Frankly, hoping for December. I'm hoping that they throw this on the I'm hoping that they throw this on the top of the card for December. We already have, at least right now, Merab versus Peter Yan rematch as the main event and Pantoja versus Van as the co-main event. Throw this on the top of the card if Tom's healthy. They're heavyweights. They don't have to cut weight. They're already in peak condition. Neither of them took much damage minus the eye poke. I know Tom might have busted up his nose a little bit, but I say you do this in 6 weeks, 7 weeks. That's when the December pay-per-view is. Send them, get them both healthy, get them to Vegas as soon as possible and make this fight happen, because the fight was shaping up to be an all-time great fight. One of the first times at heavyweight that we've seen in quite some time actually non-obese skilled heavyweights, especially even for the belt. I mean, John Jones looked like a bag of milk at UFC 309 against Stipe. It was shaping up to be a great fight. I mean, Ciryl was getting his jab off. He defended Tom's one and only takedown attempt. Tom was starting to let off some big combos, starting to close the distance and get more confident with those big shots. It was shaping up to be an all-time great heavyweight title fight. There's not a whole lot to break down other than that. It was back and forth with some combos on the feet, no grappling, but a whole lot left to be desired after the eye poke. And everybody in the MMA community is talking about this eye poke, whether it be that Tom should have stopped fighting or it be that Tom should have kept fighting. And even right here, Hey Jive Pick saying, bro found out what it would take, referencing the "have you ever been fingered by an MMA fighter" interview with Nina Drama. And Tom Aspinall has now been fingered by an MMA fighter, unfortunately. The UFC heavyweight division had a disastrous night. Of course, the no contest in the main event, but also Jailton Almeida putting on a lay and pray performance, thinking that he was going to get a title shot off of that. And then, of course, Chris Barnett, who Walter Walker called Brown Peppa Pig, having his ass pop out on the prelims. Chris Barnett looked terrible against Hamdi Abdel-Wahab. And even the commentary said that the main event would look like a different sport compared to the Barnett and Abdel-Wahab fight. So terrible, terrible night for the heavyweight division. And I'm glad that the fighters that are commenting on X and on Threads, all that type of stuff, I'm glad that the fighters are taking Tom's side. Derek Brunson said, wow, the fight ended with a no contest. Is the heavyweight division cursed or what? Arnold Allen said, man, that's fucking rough for Tom. Double eye poke. Vince Morales said, if Gane can poke him in the eye that bad, imagine John Jones, who has a career history of poking his opponents in the eyes. And Bilal Muhammad said, Gane, you can't be mad. You clearly poked him. Learn to keep your eyes closed. And I don't like Bilal Muhammad, but I like him a little bit more for taking my guy Tom's side in this scenario. There really isn't much else to talk about the main event. They just got to rebook it. That's all there is. Rebook it, settle it, move on. Winner fights the winner of John and Pereira. Maybe Volkov gets a title shot. I don't know. But we have to redo Tom and Ciryl. Quick break. If you're loving this video and you want more from Fight Society, click that join button down below to become a channel member today, where you'll get access to members-only live streams, behind-the-scenes vlogs, and all the unfiltered stuff that we don't post to the main channel. Back to the video. But the co-main event, honestly, really, really great. And I did really good on picks because I went 9-3, and then, of course, the no contest in the main event. I was getting some heat in the comments for picking Mackenzie Dern because a lot of people were saying that Jandy Roba had improved much more than Dern did since their first fight. But I scored at 4-1, maybe 3-2 for Mackenzie Dern, and she looked really good. We'll talk about it a little bit more with the Volkov and Almeida fight, but we're seeing finally like some healing in MMA because we can't have these lay and pray wrestlers that don't do any damage from top winning fights with literally just lay and praying. Mackenzie Dern throwing elbows and punches from the bottom, throwing up submission attempts, and landing quite a bit on the feet despite giving up a lot of takedowns. She won the fight and she was winning rounds from her back. And that's how it needs to be because this is a damage-based sport, not a control-based sport, not a point-based sport like boxing. It is a damage-based sport. And if you're on your back doing damage, the fact that you're on your back should not count against you from a scoring standpoint. So Mackenzie Dern, she looked really good, vastly improved stand-up. I remember about a year ago, I said, yeah, she's got elite jiu-jitsu, but her striking is what's going to be her pitfall when it comes to fighting top-level competition. And I don't know if she would have beat Weili Zhang tonight, but she looked really good. And frankly, I know the talk on social media is how much Mackenzie Dern has been used to up the views of the UFC social media this week. They're going to put her on a rocket ship. They're going to put her in big fights. I could even see her headlining a pay-per-view as a female champ, which is pretty rare. But she's really popular, and the UFC is going to put her on a rocket ship. She's got the whole single mom thing. She put the belt on her daughter. It's shaping up for the UFC to do some sort of, not at the same scale, but some sort of Ronda Rousey type push. So Mackenzie Dern, the new strawweight champ, what was being looked at as one of the most irrelevant title fights in UFC history going into the card, actually ended up being a great fight. It was way better than Volkov and Almeida. It was way better than the main event, if we're being honest, because the main event ended so terribly. But Mackenzie Dern is the new champ at 115, and she helped me do really good on picks. I went 9-3 9-3-1, I guess, because there was the no contest, but 9-3 on picks. And if Tom would have won, been 10-3. Moving on to the feature fight of the card, Umar Nurmagomedov wins a 30-27 decision over Mario Batista. Despite a couple of hairy moments for Umar Nurmagomedov, he almost got caught in a toe hold in the first round. It was honestly really deep. His ankle was getting twisted really badly, and he was able to spin out of it. And then, of course, either beginning of the second or third round, he got dropped with, I think, what was supposed to be a body kick ended up being a knee to the head because he shot into it, and he got sat down on his butt. And despite all of that, still won all 3 rounds because outside of those 2 moments, the knockdown from the knee and then, of course, the toe hold in the first round, outside of that, he was really dominant. Top control, damage done, attempting submissions, a really, really well-rounded fight, but it's not going to get him a title shot. And he even said it himself in the post-fight press conference, because at the pre-fight press conference, Dana White said, put on a performance that makes people say that guy's got to fight for the title. He said himself in the post-fight press conference, I don't know if that was enough for people to demand a title shot for me. I will say that Umar looks incredibly well-rounded, really impressive. He's got like good traditional boxing and then a very active and dynamic lead leg with karate-style kicks. And then, of course, you know, the elite grappling that comes out of Khabib's camp. It was a good performance. It just wasn't a title shot earning performance when you consider that he just lost his last fight to the current champion. And it was a relatively, I know it was a close fight, but a decisive fight for Merab. I would say, given the layout of this division and who's coming off of losses and who's already lost to Merab, I think you got to do Umar against Sugar Sean. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think Sugar Sean can win that fight too. He's way bigger than Umar. He has knockout power. We just saw Umar get dropped. Sugar might be wanting a more favorable fight against a Sandhagen or Song Yadong, somebody that'll throw hands a little bit more, somebody that's not as well-rounded as Umar. Umar and Sugar Sean sounds like a really good matchup to me. Fight night main event, pay-per-view co-main. I think you got to give somebody like Ayman Zahabi a title shot. Davison Figueiredo lost really recently, so you can't give him a title shot coming off of Montel Jackson in Rio. But I think you could give Ayman Zahabi a title shot coming off of his win over Cheeto. That's how dire of a position the bantamweight division is in with such a dominant champion like Merab, because you have Peter Yan is about to get a rematch. Sean O'Malley already got a rematch. If you throw a Sandhagen or an Umar or somebody like that, again, we're just recycling rematches. And I think we got to do somebody like an Ayman Zahabi or a Davison Figueiredo if he gets one more win against a top-level opponent. Unfortunately for Mario Batista, his 8-fight win streak comes to an end here. But I was really impressed with him. I know 30-27 doesn't look like he put on an impressive performance, but he pushed Umar just as hard as anybody besides Merab. He pushed Umar harder than Corey Sandhagen did. So shout out Umar. Honestly, I'm not even going to hate on him for this performance. I normally hate on his performances, and I normally hate on Mario Batista. But this was a good fight, especially when you had it on the same card as the eye poke as Tom Aspinall and the snooze fest that was Volkov and Almeida. This fight looks incredible. So we move on to the fight that I just mentioned. Alexander Volkov beats Jailton Almeida by split decision. Although he spent most of the fight on his back, he was the one doing the damage from bottom, elbows and punches, attempting, you know, things like a Kimura and all of that from bottom. And Jailton Almeida lay and prayed. It was the same thing he did against Derek Lewis, except Derek Lewis had no offense mounted at all. And Dana White told Volkov, after he lost that very controversial decision to Ciryl Gane in December, that will make it up to you. And then people are saying here, Volkov is winning a controversial decision. I disagree with it being controversial. I actually think that we're seeing a shift in the right direction when it comes to MMA judging. We saw it in the Mackenzie Dern win, and we saw it in the Volkov win. We have to move away from lay and pray grappling. It's going to turn people off to the sport when you can hold somebody down and not fight, because that's what lay and praying is. You are not fighting. You're expending a bunch of energy and time to ensure that you don't have to fight, because fighting is inflicting damage on your opponent. When you start doing what Almeida did, it starts to turn into a grappling match. And that's not why people watch MMA. People can go watch IBJJF or ADCC or just go to like your local Jiu-Jitsu World League or whatever it is. If you want to watch something like that, we watch MMA because we want to watch fights. And Volkov was trying to make it a fight, even though he was too tired to stand to his feet in multiple points in the fight. He was still doing damage from bottom, and I had Volkov winning this fight, and I'm not mad at it. And also the fact that Ciryl Gane won such a controversial decision over Volkov in December makes me even more annoyed at Ciryl Gane causing this no contest in the main event. Like I just mentioned a minute ago, damage over lay and pray, MMA is healing. I'm telling you guys, big title fights, lay and pray is no longer being rewarded. Even Umar Nurmagomedov is trying to make things exciting and mix things up. UFC is about to have the biggest year in its history in 2026. We're having exciting champions, judging being fixed, Conor McGregor's sober. Maybe we get John Jones and Alex Pereira at the White House. MMA is about to have a massive year, probably the biggest year it's ever had. And moving on to the main card opener, where Azamat Murzakanov KOs Alexander Rakic with a very stiff jab. He almost kind of turned it over like a lead cross, kind of, you could say. KOs Alexander Rakic, flatlines him really, really bad. And he's 16-0. He's number 7. He's going to take Rakic's spot, so he's going to be 7 in the rankings. Although he is built like just an average dude that would like come and fix your plumbing, he doesn't look like a pro fighter, especially compared to Rakic. He's nasty, and he hits like a truck. So 16-0, very well-rounded, very explosive, knockout power. You guys cannot tell me that Azamat Murzakanov against Khalil Roundtree or Yuri Prohaska, somebody like that, Yuri's probably going to get a bigger fight, but Murzakanov against Khalil Roundtree, both being a little bit on the shorter side for the 205 division, both being scary strikers. Take my money. Fight night main event, pay-per-view main card, something like that. Khalil Roundtree and Azamat Murzakanov, somebody's going to sleep in that fight. And he's 16-0. We'll see, but Azamat Murzakanov KO. And as far as Alexander Rakic goes, I feel like I see him get wobbled badly or KO'd badly from very iffy shots. And that makes me think that being as big as he is, he probably walks around at 235, 240. He's like my size. I don't think a cut to 205 worth it for him, especially with how weak the heavyweight division is. Rakic needs to go up to heavyweight. Think about Rakic against somebody like a Ciryl Gane. That'd be a sick matchup. And he's huge. Not everybody's Alex Pereira that can just cut 40 pounds and be fine. Rakic, move up to heavyweight. It's a wide open division outside of the mess at the top right now. There's some easy wins for you. You can probably defend a heel hook better than most people. Even a Volter Walker fight would be fine. Not a lot of guys can keep up with the striking of Rakic at heavyweight. So Rakic, go to heavyweight, save your chin, save your career. Don't punish yourself for no reason. I mean, imagine Rakic with the build he has at 205, not cutting weight. He'd be like built like the fucking Terminator. So Rakic, move up to heavyweight. That's what I have to say. A couple notes from the prelims. Killing Sal killed one of the nastiest KOs I have seen in a really long time. Head kick KOs Nasrat Haqparast. I had Nasrat Haqparast by decision in this fight, just given the high level experience Haqparast has fought guys like Dan Hooker. Killian Salkill just kicked him into another dimension. I mean, really a disturbing knockout. One of the first times in a while that I've been bothered and worried after a knockout, because Haqparast went face down, didn't move for minutes. And he's, his legs started shaking. He started to seize up. It was nasty. It was good to see him, get up, walk around, and leave the octagon under his own power, but still a nasty knockout. He needs a lot of time off. That's like when Dustin Poirier got head kicked by Justin Gaethje. Got to take a lot of time off after that, unfortunately. And Killian Salkill, 25 years old, 10-1. After that KO, 3-0 in the UFC. He called for a top 15 opponent. I don't think he'll get it yet. I think he'll get another fringe ranking guy. They don't need to rush him. He's 25 years old. And there's a lot of older killers at the top of 155. Oliveira, Gaethje, Holloway, guys that are in their mid to late 30s that aren't going to be around much longer. Maybe you give him like a Benoit Saint-Denis. Maybe you give him a Jalen Turner, somebody like that, because Jalen Turner just came out of retirement. But this guy's going to be a star, especially with that striking style and how much of a push the UFC has put into the Oceania region of New Zealand and Australia. Put him on the main card in February. February is going to be in Australia. It's rumored to be Volk's retirement fight with Volk in the main event. Put Killian Salkill on the main card against a Jalen Turner, against a Benoit Saint-Denis, somebody that's a fringe ranking guy. And let's get this guy building a resume so that he can be one of this next generation of stars, because the top of 155, which is the most star-studded weight class in the UFC, is going to be very empty in the next 3 years, because Ilia Topuria has said he's going to retire young. Oliveira doesn't have much time left. Gaethje doesn't have much time left. I can see 2-3 years down the line, the top of this division being Ilia Topuria, Paddy Pimblett, Killian Salkild. It's weird to say that because he's just now on our radar. Killian Salkild's going to be a star. He's got the style for it. And Walter Walker, another heel hook. 4 heel hooks in a row. I said he was going to get a first-round heel hook. That's exactly what happened. He defends his number 15 ranked spot in the heavyweight division. Louis Sutherland was a champ in some of the regional promotions, and I was pretty certain that he was going to be just another shit fat heavyweight. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, you learn to defend heel hooks very, very early in your UFC career, and it's also hard to get them when you're not in the gi because you get sweaty. So unless it's the first round, they're going to be hard to get, and Walter Walker keeps getting them. He even wears a chain that has a bloody ankle on it or something like that. So he's, building some lore for himself, and while he knocks off these lower-level heavyweights that are outside the rankings, he's going to get a lot of these heel hook finishes. And he called out Hamdi Abdel-Wahab, who just beat Chris Barnett. That's an easy win for him as well. I don't really care to see that. I'd like to see him start moving up in the rankings, not just keep defending his number 15 spot. Maybe give him a Derek Lewis, somebody like that, somebody that could just stand up, like Derek Lewis says. But Walter Walker's building a little bit of lore for himself with these heel hooks, and heavyweight's starting to get better, finally. Like I said earlier, MMA's healing. And of course, probably the shittiest fight I've seen in a while. Hamdi Abdel-Wahab beats Chris Barnett by decision. I thought he was going to TKO him, but just look at this build right here on Chris Barnett. He's fat, he's out of shape, he's not skilled. His ass is popping out during the fight, and he looks like he doesn't even want to be in there most of the time. So cut Chris Barnett from the sport and move on with it, okay? We have to have real athletes if we want to be taken seriously. We can't have just fat guys at heavyweight. So there's my thoughts on UFC 321. Let me know your thoughts down below. Save the Tom Aspinall hate for another time, okay? It was the right decision, the right medical decision, the right fight strategy decision, and the right career decision. Run it back, throw it on the December pay-per-view. Mackenzie Dern's on a rocket ship. What else we got? Azamat Murzakanov, 16-0. It's a great card that just ended really, really badly. So I'm still bummed about that. Hopefully they can run it back quickly and we can move on with the heavyweight division because we got John Jones coming out of retirement. Alex Pereira is going to move up. Walter Walker heel hooking everybody. Heavyweight could get exciting. We just need to get this no contest like out of our system. And that's why you turn it around in 6-7 weeks. Do it in December. Let me know your thoughts on UFC 321 below. My name is Wyatt, and this is Fight Society. Do you want more from Fight Society? Like and subscribe below this video, and click the join button to become a channel member today to get access to behind-the-scenes vlogs and members-only live streams.